Hans Wormhat.
Hey Hans, still not calling you Retro-Per-Goblins or whatever the hell your new name is. Not gonna happen. Thankfully, your back catalogue is still an absolute treasure trove of lolcowery. That I think I'll have finally completely lost my mind to all the silly long before I run out of things that you have said to talk about.
This is a video on the zealotry of science, and...
Ooh, the zealotry of science. Well, you know, it's kind of unsurprising that science has a habit of creating zealous advocates. Because it does this weird thing that is so unusual in pretty much everything of society. It makes things that work, like all the time. It's weird that no other idea can do that for some reason, no matter how correct they claim to be. Strange.
I could talk about this for so long that I want to try to keep it really, really short.
Don't worry, Hans. I'm sure you will hit your point at about the 2-minute mark and then just ramble on for the following 10 to 20 minutes, running around in circles till we inevitably all drown in the whirlpool of silly that you can't help but create. Should be fun.
I used to believe in science.
Wow, that breath was so damn dramatic. And it's okay, Hans. Your belief is not a factor in whether or not science continues to function. That's kind of the beauty of it. Without zealotry of various religiboys, those religions just kind of poof out of existence, taking their gods with them, almost like they never even existed. But we could all stop believing in science tomorrow, and literally every useful thing that it has ever done, every functional idea that has come from the scientific method, would still be just as valid, and all the things would continue to work the way they had always worked, assuming we knew how to fix them, etc. Like, there's a reason that despite your apparent not believing in science, your phone and your laptop and your TV and your internet still do things. But when I make a prayer, it does absolutely f*** all. Still don't have my infinite whiskey bottle, therefore, God not real. Prove me wrong.
And, okay, it's bad to say that because I still believe in being able to have theories and test them and prove things right.
So you don't believe in science, but you do believe in all the things that science represents. I have a funny feeling that you don't know what science is. Science isn't like some belief system. It's a way of finding out facts. Like I said, it really doesn't care what you believe, be it science or any number of ideologies. That's why there are plenty of varied religious scientists who do the exact same science as anyone else. So long as they're doing it right, it doesn't matter. The point is to remove what you think you know and figure out the actual facts of the thing as best we can. It's not actually that complicated, mate.
And the scientific method, but modern science has nothing to do with that.
I think you'll find it has literally everything to do with that. Oh right, I forgot, your Hans Wormhat. Anything that doesn't agree with you is bad, naughty modern science, and anything, no matter how unscientific it is and how poorly it reflects on reality, if it agrees with your worldview, well, that's the good science. Soz boss, not how it works. Like I said, believe what you want. Science is science. End of story.
And people really follow it just like a religion, and I used to follow it just like a religion.
Honestly, if you follow science like a religion, you're doing it completely wrong. Because I don't know of any other religion that says, assume you're wrong, go out of your way to prove yourself wrong, and finally, when you've run out of wrong answers, you might be right. But who knows, give it a couple of years, you'll probably be wrong again. And that's a good thing. Any other religion is just, this is how things are. Nothing will ever change, and if it does, we are going to be really slow to keep up with it. If we even do. Yeah, no, you're right. Science is exactly like every other religion. Obviously, how could I be so blind?
Believe things against better judgment that don't have proof for it, and believe fairy tales that people tell you.
I'm sorry, are we talking about science or are we talking about the shit you believe? Because that sounds like how you are now. And honestly, I can't see you actually being any different back then. I think that you probably just didn't understand what you were told then and still don't understand it now, but have decided that it's a problem now for some reason. Ignorance is always a problem, Hans. You're just better at it now, apparently.
I remember when they tried to teach me the fairy tale of gravity. I remember knowing that that was not true.
Ugh, you knew that gravity was not true. Well, what was sticking you to the floor then, Hans? Nothing? No, come on. Let's take out all the complexities of it and certainly all your gibberish and just go, I stick to the floor, I don't float, I don't go sideways or at any other angle. What is doing that? It must be something. Well, that thing is called gravity. Regardless of what you understand about its mechanics, it is a fact that you jump up, you go back down. How the f*** is that a fairy tale, Hans? Oh, that's right, you spend all your time with your head in the clouds, so of course you don't think gravity is real.
That wasn't the right answer. I knew that the apple fell because it's more dense than air and it's no longer supported by the tree.
Okay, but why does it being more dense than air make it fall to the ground? Density is only one factor in this equation. Density is not a force, not in the same way as gravity. Like, why does the bottom of our atmosphere group together far more tightly than the top? If your density theory was true, then our atmosphere would be the same all the way until it hits something else. I mean, seriously, why haven't you sunk to the centre of the planet? I don't think there's a thing on Earth more dense than you. But you doesn't do that for some strange reason.
That's buoyancy. And you don't need the mass of the Earth to bend space-time.
Ooh, look at you, Hans, talking about bending space-time, although I would be amazed if you know what that actually means. For starters, yes, you do, that's how it works. The curve of space-time is, at least for now, how we understand the way massive bodies affect the universe. Of course, I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe Hans has some insight into spatial mechanics that no one has heard before, and will blow our current knowledge base out of the water. And maybe I'll start producing decent videos. Not gonna happen.
And here's where they get kind of arrogant about it too. I have no problem admitting that God made this place the way that it works.
Oh, for f***'s sake, Hans. God did it is not an answer. It's definitely nowhere near a scientific answer. So your claim of
I still believe in being able to have theories and test them and prove things right.
It's obviously complete and total gibberish, because you cannot do that with God did it. God is not a scientific concept, because as some theists like to smugly point out, as an I win, you can't put God in a test tube, naff. Well, yeah, you know what else you can't do that with? Unicorns, the Easter Bunny, Hans's brain, because none of those exist either.
And that's why there's only one down direction. And that's why things fall only in one direction.
Right, even if God did the Earth, for some reason, everything else can be explained, and science does a really good job of how it works in God's universe. And loads of those things you accept. But because gravity goes against your very, very, very stupid idea of how the Earth works, if you didn't know, Hans be the fluffer guy. But yeah, because it doesn't do how you want, you default to things fall down cause God say so, checkmate science, guys. And I bet you wonder why people think that you are a cretin. Everything's obvious to everyone but you, mate.
And that direction is down.
Ah, the classic down of the flat Earth. The meaningless down with no explanation as to why. And again, density has no direction. It is not an explanation, only a bark that your lot do because you think that it refutes gravity. It doesn't. And I know you don't believe in space either, but I'm going to say it anyway. When there is no gravity, density doesn't layer things. They just separate out into droplets, basically. Only when you add some kind of force, in this case centripetal, because you know space, does the liquid separate in more the way we expect, aka the denser, heavier liquid at the quote-unquote bottom and the lighter, less dense fluid at the top. And I can guess the counter to this already, but CGI though. No, I've decided you don't get to use that until you can make some even moderately convincing CGI yourselves. But you won't, because either you'll figure out that you were talking out of your ass, or more likely, that you don't have anything even approaching the skill to actually get good at that, or anything really.
I'm okay with saying that. Now, what scientism will do is they'll make up some sci-fi explanation for that.
Mate, you can be as okay with doing God am done did it as you like. That doesn't make that useful, and it certainly doesn't make you right. And we know that your scientism is just science in general, and no, science doesn't make stuff up. You make stuff up. But just because that's something that you think is a legitimate way to describe reality doesn't mean that is what everyone else is doing, especially if they want to make things that work. I've said it so many times and it has never not been true. Flat earthers do not produce anything that works, certainly nothing new. There is not one scientific or technological breakthrough done in the last 100 years, certainly, and probably 2,000 years at least, by someone who genuinely believes that the Earth is flat. And I would be shocked to find out if they ever did or ever will. Because people who stand by that idea tend to have absolutely no understanding of how to science. And saying, I totally believe in testing, doesn't mean that you actually believe that really, because cognitive dissonance is a hell of a drug.
But at the end of the day, they still don't really have a why.
Yes, they do. You just don't understand it. And if you don't understand it, instead of actually buckling down and learning how it works like other people would, perhaps to prove them wrong even, you just say, it am wrong, cause God though, and carry on believing what you want to believe, because it's all about what you want to believe. Whereas, I don't care. Like, I want to believe I am handsome, famous, and good at the sex, but if science proved that wrong, I would have to agree to what reality says. Thankfully, science says that I'm double H, F, and G at the S, so it all works out. Thanks, science!
Okay, so let's just go along with the spaceball thing for a second, just for fun.
Yeah, let's just go along with it, because it's not like it's a fact, unlike a giant nonsensical deep dish pizza that doesn't stand up to any of our observation about the reals, or about space in general. Thanks, Hans, for allowing us to have reality as reality. For a bonus, why didn't you say something really stupid about it too?
The value of G is 9.8. Well, why? Why is it 9.8 and not 4.9?
Because that's what it is. Again, they base what they understand on reality and not what me can see or look at my book, but actual measured things. And if you look it up, you can find out why. But looking it up is for sad losers who believe in scientism, right? No, the cool kids, we just believe whatever our mates on the internet made up. Now that's how to smart.
We're not 20. Why is the value of G what it is? They won't have an answer for that.
Yeah, they do. It's right there. I mean, there are other G's too, depending on what the value of G represents. Like, if you take G to be the gravitational constant. Yep, they worked that out as well. Now, to be fair, it's harder to get an accurate grab on that, but when you plug it into various formula, it gives usable results. But tell me, what is the value of down? You like to say, we don't have any answers for the things we say, even though we do. And I do mean we as in smart folks with their tag-along, me. So not sure if that's a lie or you really are just that ignorant/incompetent. But have you ever thought to question what is down? How fast is down? And if you do have a number, how did you get it? And how is it more useful than any of the numbers that come from science? All these questions and more completely ignored by flat earth theory. But did you know it kind of looks flat, so science is wrong?
So just because they have one fairy tale answer thrown in, oh, you don't know why objects fall only down, I'm fine with saying because God made this place in a way that makes sense. There's an up and there's a down.
It's not a fairy tale, and you're admitting that you don't understand how it works, but we do. It is explained in detail that I could never hope to fully understand, but I understand enough that I know it's correct and that it works to do things. What exactly can you do with the information there am up and down? Not a lot, really. But with our understandings of physics, we can get things into space. See, you pretend to accept that you just don't know how God's world works, but actually, it's your fragile little ego being so hurt by the lacking of understanding that you would rather invoke an all-powerful supernatural being than to just say, I don't get this. Maybe I'm kind of dumb.
That's a perfect answer for me. I'm okay with that. And that's another thing too. They think that they can set their own goalposts for everybody else. I'm allowed to choose what's a convincing argument for myself. I find it very convincing.
You literally just did that. You're the one saying, I find this convincing, therefore it's correct. It doesn't matter what value it has. I don't need it to have value. I just need it to not damage the pitiful flakes that are my self-worth. Lest I understand just how f***ing stupid I truly am. The science constantly changes, adapts and improves. Your ideas have not changed in years. This is all pure, concentrated, weapons-grade projection. No one believes the science because they want to. They believe it because nothing else comes even close to explaining things better. That's actually a pretty goddamn good reason to believe something.
The argument that there's just an up and a down and it's the same for everybody else. And I find the Spaceball stuff laughable.
Which is ironic, because everything you believe is just about the funniest shit I ever heard in my life. Get a grip, Hans. Or don't, either way, I win. You're either going to be hilarious, or you'll start actually being right. And at this point, I don't really care which.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the